I brought the onions out, and we're gonna leave them out here outside the greenhouse for a couple days, and then we're gonna plant them in the containers out at the Noe garden along with the tomatoes. So we're gonna put one in each one of the containers. We're gonna co-grow. This evening I'm gonna plant some butternut squash here, my own breeding. I got some zucchini right next to it, my own breeding. I've got some melons that I'm in the process of developing, and so they are, it's a canary melon crossed with an ambrosia melon and what else? One of the other melons, I can't think of what it is, but it's got all that melon in it. So I'm at one of my little holes here. That's the size of it compared to my hand. And all I do is I make an area here that the plug's going to go in. Next, all I do is just grab a plug. I use a fork, just a kitchen fork, to pry it out, go along the edge here, and lift up. I set it in here, and I bring the existing around it some. Then I take some extra that I create in a 5-gallon bucket, and I place it around it gently. I'll get a little better off camera, but you get the gist. So I've got all my squash, butternuts, melons, peppers, and eggplants planted in all the little holes in the fabric. And it looks like it's all growing pretty well now, which is good. And this is my next project. This is one of the Fawn 2 platforms, excuse me, taken from my old greenhouse. I'm going to put it in here in the Noe garden temporarily, and I'm going to try to grow in it. This particular bed is going to be beans. We've been getting so much rain, but in this case I just finished loading up that bed, and I appreciate the rain. Going in close here. I'm not sure how wobbly it's going to be. So yeah, I'm happy for this, and I like this kind of rain. A light, soothing, plant-loving rain versus the torrential downpours and flooding, severe flooding we've been getting. I'll stop long enough. I could come out here. Well, it's misting a little, but basically it stopped long enough where I could come out here and you can get a look. Filled it to the top. That's going to sink some because that's a very airy mix. It is 2 parts aged rice hulls in my pile over there, and 1 part sphagnum peat. Mixed in a wheelbarrow. It took about 4.5 wheelbarrow fulls for that 2x8 bed. This is the bean seed I'm going with this year, and I'll put those on the bed and get a visual of the spacing, and we'll go ahead and plant these things. The little white specks are the seeds, and that's why I plant usually. I kind of put the seed on top and use as a spacing guide. And there's 53 seed there. I don't expect them all to germinate, but most of them. And the ones that don't germinate I'll replant, and or it depends on the spacing and how aggressively they grow. I might not replant. But anyway, the suggested planting space is plant every 2 inches, which I obviously did not, and then thinned to every 4 inches. And if you come in close, my hand is 7 inches, so at a diagonal they're at least 6 inches, and they're greater than 6 inches from, greater than 7 inches from here to here. So I'm obviously nowhere near spacing, but I know beans and I don't quite trust the spacing, but I still want to get a good bit of growth in plants. So we're going to go with this. Now that we've got the spacing, I'll show you how to plant. It's real easy. Just push it down in there like that, cover it up. Push it down in, cover it up. Push it in and cover it up. That's it. I'm going to do the rest. Let me give you a quick look at the no-weed garden now. I was going to wait till the beans came up, but might as well go ahead. You can see the tomatoes are growing along the fence here. I did that on purpose. I put bamboo ever so often there for support. We're going to try that. Make use of the fence since I'm using it anyway to keep the deer, rabbits, raccoons, possums out. That's what it looks like. Newly planted green bean bed. I've got one of my squash here. It's a zucchini. More along the back fence here. They're starting to come along nicely now. The weather's finally warming up enough. Over here is a line 3, I think I called it, which is a striped ball vining squash. Over here, more tomatoes along the fence line. I've got Madison's Choice here, all the way to about right there, and there's 2 plants, maybe 3 of early prolific as a trap crop to compare it against squash bugs and test the insect pressure between early prolific, which is a very popular squash, Madison's Choice, and Madison's Cross. Now, early prolific and Madison's Cross were the parents of Madison's Choice. Madison's Choice is a hybrid. So if you save seed from the hybrid, guys, those of you I gave seed to, it's not going to come true. It's not going to be just like the parents, that's for sure. In this row here, I've got eggplant, I've got Louisiana green oval, and 3 or 4 of these. I've got my hybrid eggplant as well. I'm calling it Makito, I think, yeah, which is an amalgamation of both parents combined. It makes for kind of a cool name. Continuing on with the tomatoes, making you sick, so let me pull you up here so it's not as troublesome. Here I've got carrots that I had growing inside the grow room that I brought outside. My San Marzano Cross tomato here is going nuts. It's the most aggressive, which was kind of surprising. I've got here cherry tomatoes. This is that one cross of mine that was a dark tomato that I showed in the grow room last November or so. These are a grape tomato of mine, and then my cherry tomatoes in the last couple down there. What else have we got going on over here? This is another cross of mine to attempt to bring in some disease resistant. This line right here, let me get my finger on it, yeah, where the T-posts are. My finger pointing in the camera is different than my actual line of sight. These 4 are tomatoes that I'm comparing my tomato against others. Take a look at that. That's kind of neat, isn't it? The amount of flower clusters on that one. That came from my cherry tomato. That's why it's doing that. A pepper that I'm going to probably attempt to cross with my California Bryan pepper, which I didn't show you that, but my California Bryan peppers and my bell pepper, 2 different bell pepper and a sweet pepper are all in that row right there. Back here, this is mature versions that I had overwintered. This is another Louisiana green oval. This is my Makito, and that's the parent of Makito, one of the parents. Over here I've got another beefsteak cross along the fence line, and then in this whole row here I've got my Parthena carpet cucumber, which means seedless, and all female seedless that I'm attempting to grow. And I'm going to wrap those around the cages for my tomato wrapping, as you might have seen. So that's an update. It's about time I published something besides microgreens, isn't it, guys? This is Brent. We'll see you later.